copy. We've had experience in the past where we kept shooting revised copies back and forth and back and forth. And actually it got confusing because you didn't know which version of the CDP you were looking at. So instead, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, the version that's submitted, that's the version. Now everything from there, we have this list of things, and if the town council, after holding a public hearing and holding their discussion, feels it's appropriate, you could add conditions to deal with a list. And I've got a list accumulated, and it's in the staff report. There's 8 things in the staff report, and I've got a handful of conditions to hand out that I have even written up into a handout for you. So that'll be coming in a moment here, okay? So we have a total of 11 conditions that will deal with all the issues. 8 of those are in the staff report already. They're in the draft motion at the back of the staff report. 9, 10, 11 are in a handout I'm going to give you. So far, so good?
We're still waiting.
Bill, I don't know.
Could you talk faster? Because I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All right. So some of the issues that we discussed that have been resolved in the CDP include such things as annexation of the subject parcels. Only about half of the subject property is currently annexed into municipal limits. It is in the CDP that the subject property will need to be annexed, and there is a trigger mechanism for when that needs to occur. We have resolved the list of land use issues. Those are in the list in Exhibit 7 of the packet. So the total list of land uses that are allowed in all these various sections is in there, ready to go. When the application came in, there was nothing that addressed the construction of Southern Road and Old Morganton Road. Our concern was, hey, Phase 3 comes in, we don't want to build that quite yet. Phase 4 comes in, we really don't want to build it quite yet. Phase 5 comes in, we don't want to build it quite yet. We said, no, we're not doing that. So in CDP, Section 10 of the CDP, it is clear that the construction of the roads has a finite timeline by which it has to be done. When the application came in, there was a provision in there to allow for parking between the front of a large retail building and the road. And our UDO actually does not like that. Our UDO has 2 different provisions that are applicable to this project, and a total of 3 that could be applicable elsewhere that try to get parking wrapped around to the side or behind the building rather than having an ocean of parking between a big box facade and the street. This project came in wanting parking between the big box facade and the street. So we said, okay, well, let's balance that by making sure that the passersby, motorists, pedestrian, bicyclists, everybody using that corridor, the road that bisects the middle of that property, the effect of that big area of parking is going to be softened, number 1, by the town's landscaping code that is applicable. Number 2, by the street tree requirements that are applicable otherwise. And number 3, we discussed and we worked on what we're referring to as a linear park. Now, the linear park is a key design feature of Morganton Park South and the CDP, and it basically requires no less than 80 feet be provided on either side of the right-of-way. This is 80 feet on the outside of the Pine Ridge Parkway, which is the road that bisects the property going from West Morganton down to 15501. There will be no less than 80 feet, and no less than 20 feet of that 80 can be on either side. So you can do 60-20, you can do 50-30, and you can do 40-40, or any combination thereof. I could keep going with the math, but I won't. So, I mean, you could do 55-20. The point is, you take that 80, you divide it out, and so if there's a design constraint on one side of Pine Ridge Parkway that just doesn't allow you to get the 40 feet, you can go down to 20 feet and put it on the other side. So there's flexibility in design, but that linear park, in the CDP, there's a whole table of things you have to include in there, amenities such as benches, dog walking stations, and it has to be landscaped, and that's all in the CDP right now. Parking has been resolved. They are moving the parking from 1 to 200 to 1 to 250, so 1 parking space per 250 square feet. All right. So those are the issues that have been resolved and are in the CDP, therefore there's no conditions about those issues in the draft motions, which again are just draft at this point because we have to draft something up for you guys to consider, but we haven't held the public hearing yet. All right, so what is not in the CDP, but what is resolved in the staff report? Let me pull up